All right, good work day today. What you got?
What's the timetable for Andrew Boyle and whether or not he'll be able to return?
They're probably not going to see Andrew this year, but continue. You don't put timelines on that. You put benchmarks, and if guys hit their benchmarks, then you're able to get them back.
Why is loyalty something like, is that something that was ingrained in you when you were younger? But just the comments you made the other day, does that speak to your kind of history with that sort of thing?
Look, I mean, you are what you do consistently, right? And been fortunate enough to be around some phenomenal people, and yeah, loyalty means something to me. It'll always mean something to me.
How important has Bo's ball security been in the offense so far?
Huge, right? You talk about success. We talk about the two biggest indicators of wins and losses, and it's explosive plays and taking care of the ball or taking the ball, right? Those are big indicators. When we take care of the ball, we're a pretty dangerous team.
So you've harped on penalties for a while. A couple from the last game I wanted your perspective on. Did Tiefer do anything other than spin the football?
That was what the penalty was for.
Ever seen somebody penalized for spinning the football?
I haven't. We got to coach that.
And the Ty Sheen PI, just wanted your perspective on it. It looked like there was hand fighting both ways on that.
Yeah, I didn't see that one as a penalty. Still waiting for the assessment.
As recruiting is getting close to signing day, how do you assess just the overall aspect of this year's class so far and just kind of last month with that push?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a great class coming in. I'm really excited about some of the guys that are going to come here and be a part of what we're doing. I think they see, the big picture, what exists here. I think they see the consistency. They want to be a part of a great team. Great players want to play with other great players, right? And that's what we have built so far.
Sounds like Jaden Rashad is back at practice for them. Just with only 2 games of tape and high school film and recruiting, and what do you know about him, and what might you offer them offensively?
Yeah, we anticipate seeing Jaden out there on the field. He's a talented player. Obviously he can throw a good ball.
What's impressed you most with, I guess, just how Kenny's continued? There's no chance of postseason with all these injuries, but they're playing some of their best football right now this part of the season. What do you see that speaks to what he's doing?
Well, just great effort on film. They consistently have great effort on film. I think they play disciplined football. They're not a team that really hurts themselves, and that they have wrinkles each week that make them tough to defend.
Are there things that Cal did that either I wouldn't say concerned you exactly, but did schematically that, because of the similarities with Kenny, that you try to prepare for, like getting the ball in the perimeter in certain ways, where they try to free up their receivers at times?
Not really.
The wrinkles that Kenny throws in, how difficult has that been during prep compared to the other weeks where maybe an offense is more mainline than they have been all year?
Yeah, I think we consistently try to give our guys a lot of looks. One of the things that make what we do difficult is how much we ask our guys to do, and they've been able to handle that really well. We don't know exactly what they're going to do, but we do know their DNA plays. We do know what they make their hay in, and that's what you have to really work, and then try to throw some wrinkles at your practice that he hasn't put on film, and that way they can adjust accordingly.
How has the run defense improved so much year over year? And they were very good a year ago, but improved so much, and even if you take the sacks out of the equation, you guys are better. How has the run defense improved when so much of the personnel is back?
Better talent, better execution, right? We've got more depth, more guys that can play at a high level. You have good run defense, it doesn't really matter if you have horrible pass defense, right? If you have great pass defense, it doesn't really matter if you have bad run defense. So we have to be balanced from that approach. But if you can take away a team's running ability, it lets you play, makes them play left-handed and lets you play a lot different.
Can you talk about strength in numbers there, especially? Like, here you are holding teams under 100 yards rushing, less than 3.5 yards a carry, and yet individually nobody's having a career year because of how much you rotate guys. Nobody's getting maybe the attention they deserve in part because of that. How much did you have to get the buy-in from your front seven to have that strength in numbers like you talk about, and the rotation that you have?
I disagree. You're talking about them right now, right? So people are talking about what these guys are doing. It's not really about production. It's never really about production. You go look at the first round of the draft. You're going to see 7 edge guys drafted, and tell me how many of those guys actually have double-digit sacks. I think there was 1 last year in Will Anderson. It's not about production. It's about execution. It's about the film you put on tape. Our guys realize that.
Last week, a couple of your defensive players were talking about just Jeffrey's ability to get everyone ready, the film study he does. Can you just speak to just the work he puts in and how he learned to do that?
Yeah, he's an amazing communicator. He's certainly our quarterback on defense. We have a lot of good communicators on that side of the ball, but Jeff's taken a big step forward of ownership. When the D-line's not lined up correctly, he puts that on himself. When we don't execute a coverage properly or don't identify what the other team's doing, he puts that on himself. So it starts with him owning it, and then the work. This guy puts in a lot of work, a lot of extra extra film study. He's obsessed with it. If you want to be great, you have to be obsessed.
Is that the growth from last year to this year? Is that where it's been, or was he like that last year?
I think there's a lot of pieces. Jeff's always been wired that way to do a little bit more and a little bit extra. I think, a lot of his growth is what he did in the offseason and how he's grown, his body has changed, how he comes out and gets extra before and after practice. I think that's one of the things that separates him.
What are the difficulties of defending Scatterman besides the obvious? And have you seen a player use that many roles in one game like he did last week?
No, every time this guy touches the field, it's like punt, pass, and kick competition, right? He can do it all. So you don't know what you're going to get from him. He's tough. He's hard-nosed. He doesn't go down on first contact. He threw the ball on 3rd and 10 last week, right? So it's just really unique how they use him. You almost have to treat him as a quarterback that can run at times when he's back there.
Does it mean that Popo has been able to offer you guys what he does, not just in general, but especially the last several weeks where he's clearly at less than 100%, and yet he's still as effective as he is for you guys on the inside?
Yeah, he cares, right? Popo cares. He wants to go out there and play for his team. He wants to put his best foot forward for Oregon football, and there's nobody right now in Week 11 that's not banged up, not dinged. Popo's a great example of that, of a guy that continues to push and make our team better when he's out there on the field.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.